Hey everyone, waiting for people to join. And Bo, super excited for this one. Hello, hello. Hey Bo, I'm gonna accept Bo into here.
How? Hey!
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Oh my gosh, I love your background.
Yeah, it's the new one. It's you're
Yeah.
this is the first time I'm showing the new set basically on
Oh my
camera.
god. That
Um,
is. Can you hear me well actually?
yeah, I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, perfect. Oh wow, that is so cool. Like I really love it. It's really sci-fi-ish.
Yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along. Um,
Yeah. How have you been?
yeah, it's been good. Good winter holiday and just taking some time off and spending time with family and just figuring out what to do in 2022 and you know how it is these last couple of years. It's like you can have all of these goals and aspirations and then you just have to kind of be a little bit flexible with whatever happens.
Yeah, you're so right. That is so true. Yeah, I'm so happy you're here, and I think many of us are really happy. Because we have our YouTube month for most of the people
Yeah,
probably know that. And you're the first one, and we are so excited for this one. Um, so we know you from YouTube, or let's say I know you from YouTube. Maybe other people know you from other things. Oh, who do you think has the cooler bags? Okay, let's get back to you later. Um, but yeah, it's so amazing. Like I've been following you for a while, and it's been yeah, like very, very admiring what you're doing and very inspiring even. And I just read also a lot of things about you, about that you actually just went for it and started your YouTube journey.
yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, yeah, we are just so curious. Like, who's Bo? What were you doing before YouTube, and where does all this inspiration come from?
Yeah, yeah, I guess yeah, where the inspiration comes from, I'm not entirely sure. It's like, you know how it is. It's like part madness, part obsession, part just coming up with fun ideas. It's a mixed bag of things that eventually lead you to, uh, leave your day job and just try and make something happen for yourself. But yeah, I guess I guess I could tell the short story if you want to about my background.
Yes, I would love to hear it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so been making music since mid late 90s. Made a lot of break beats, Euro dance, early house stuff. Um, had a label deal pretty early on. Nothing that really like it didn't really do much for me, but it was a really fun thing when I was a kid. Like I was posting stuff early days on the internet and got recognized by an US label, and that was kind of cool, and that is fueled it all on and made me want to do music and yeah, I released a couple of things or stateside. I still to this day get small checks with like royalty money or something from
Nice.
this. It's like a really like it's not a very up to date label, if you will. So they don't want to. They only send checks. It's like super old school. So the checks are more expensive to cash than the worth of the check. So, but it's a fun thing. It's a fun little like memory, if you will, like a reminder of those very early days. And yeah, uploaded a bunch of stuff to mp3.com, which was like a big site back in, I think, very late 90s, very early 2000s maybe, or maybe just
Mm.
like around that time. So mp3.com, we actually earned, me and my mate, we started earning some money. We were kids, you know, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just uploading our our beats and our music and whatever. We did like video game remixes. They were pretty bad. Like we were kids, like just messing around. But we found a little bit of a success there and earning some money, and you know, you get kind of into it. And yeah, and so I just kind of continued. I was like thinking of going to music production school and stuff like that, but was swayed by my parents to do more academic stuff, which is funny. They're very like artistic and cultural, but they
Mm-hmm.
they did the, you know, the traditional parent thing where you say like, yeah, music's fine and all, but you know, you should really go to school, you know,
Yep.
and do like, you know, social studies, like social science studies, basically. So yeah, went to school and kept doing music like a hobby, and went to university. And during my first university years, I was really trying to kind of, you know, kind of make it, if you will, like in terms of music. I made a lot of music. I had a small, like a small success thing in Sweden with a viral song before YouTube, before like social media was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
That I made. I made it for like a, was for a satirical show, like a cartoon basically, and the song got pretty known among kids. Like it's just a funny song.
From
Um,
Sweden,
yeah,
actually.
exactly. Yeah. It's on YouTube. People can find it. It's very silly. Like it's a silly rap song called "The King Is Here" in Swedish, and it's like satirical. It's made for basically like a teenage young adult cartoon that was very big for a couple of years online before like social media, before viral was really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could walk up to kids. This is my like 5 minutes of fame, you know. This is
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
up to kids and say like, "Do you know that song?" And they knew the song. So it was popular for like a year or two or something. And it's funny because you can still find people who have re-uploaded the song nowadays, like to YouTube and
Wow.
stuff. So there's a little bit of a like a cult thing around, maybe not so much the song, but the show that it was in. And yeah, so yeah, I was really like trying to make something happen in music. And eventually, I just came to this realization that um, you know, uh, getting to do your own thing on your own terms, you know, not being somebody else's employee or just like working for somebody else, that is extremely difficult in pretty much any area of life.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very difficult. And in music, um, very much so, because it's hard to make money, hard to make a living off it. So
Yeah.
I actually made a very conscious decision mid 2000s to not pursue music as a career because I was feeling like the grind was kind of getting to me in a way. Like
Mm.
the jobs that you could get were jobs doing things that wasn't 100% what I wanted to do. You know, live live audio mixing, like live mix engineering for shows. The bands that were interested in having stuff recorded were bands that, you know, they were good, but that wasn't the stuff that I was into. And you know, producing your own music, that's an extremely difficult business.
Yeah.
So yeah, so eventually I decided just to call it quits and keep music as a hobby, kind of downscaled it, um, and focused on my academic career. So those were kind of the early days, say mid 2000s to 2010, when I
Yeah.
sort of started picking it back up again. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's really cool. And you said like it got to you. So there was a
Mm,
point that yeah, it was not, you felt it was not anymore for you, but what was
mm.
that? What did it, how did it got you?
Um, I mean, I think for me it was I didn't feel connected to those to the people that I was working with, to the scenes that I was invited to work in. I felt like people were. I had a lot of technical knowledge. I had done music production courses at the gymnasium that I was going to. They had a very very good studio, professional teachers like that had worked in the industry. So I
Mm-hmm.
knew I had decent skills to work, but I felt like the things that people were asking for were like mix engineers, people who knew how to record things, and I wanted to do my thing. I didn't quite know what it was, do my thing, but I knew that I didn't want to, like some might sound egotistical, but I didn't want to work on somebody else's art in a way.
Yep.
That was not my aim. Like I totally have a huge respect for anybody who is a great mix engineer or who's a great producer. Who produces other people's music. Um, but I realized that that wasn't for me. I did a couple of jobs like that, and so on, like semi-professionally got paid and stuff like that. But I just realized it wasn't for me. I didn't have that. I didn't have that connection to other people's music and to the kind of music scenes that were available to me. Of course, it wasn't a lot of electronic music. In Sweden, where I was living, it was like rock and pop mostly. I made a
Mm-hmm.
lot of hip hop. I used to rap,
Nice.
which you might not expect, but yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's so
Um,
cool.
yeah, but I wasn't really connected to the hip hop crowd either. Like I was like on the outskirts of that.
Mm.
Um, so eventually, I felt like even though I had some songs that I think are strong and decent, I felt like yeah, it's not. I'm not vibing with it. I'm not connecting with that culture, and it has to feel genuine. It has to feel like something
Yeah.
you if you're gonna pursue something like that, you have to pursue with that level of intensity and passion
Mm-hmm.
and feeling. It has to really align with you in a way. Otherwise, it's just a constant struggle and pain. I think
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, like there are jobs that you don't need to feel passionate about. Like I think you can work in a convenience store and you're not very passionate about foods, for example.
Exactly.
But if you want to work in music or in a creative profession, it's very very difficult. I think if you want to really make it or make a
Mm-hmm.
make a dent, make then you really have to figure out how to align what you're doing with like the culture around you and make that fit. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, so
Yeah.
there was like a mismatch. I think I was still searching, I guess, for
Yeah.
a place in life
Yeah.
and
And then
where I fit
suddenly,
it in. Yeah, exactly. So I did fast forward. I did my teacher education, so I'm a licensed teacher, and I did my psychotherapy education, so I'm a
wow,
licensed psychotherapist as well.
really cool.
Yeah, so I'm a CBT, a cognitive behavioral therapist, basically.
Oh,
So I worked with depression, anxiety, OCD, stuff like that, burnout. Done it for 10 years until I sort of, in 2020, I just took a leave of absence from everything basically and
mm-hmm.
just focused on YouTube. So yeah, in 2015, I started dabbling with YouTube. I uploaded really shitty content. And no, but seriously, it was like, this is important to get across to people, I think also like
I
the whole
love
like,
it.
embracing that your first stuff is rarely your best stuff, it's
Mhm.
um and it can you can really, if you go back to my channel, you sort it by oldest videos, you can find some pretty bad videos, like just not very well made, and
I'm gonna search
and
it up
that's
right
how. Yeah,
now.
yeah, I
Just
mean, I
really
mean, I think it's always fun to keep them around because there's a legacy there. It reminds you of where you're
totally.
coming from. Like, just for the audience here, like, to be super transparent, when I started with YouTube, um, I had zero knowledge about how cameras worked. Like I didn't know anything. Like I couldn't, oh wait, let's see here. Like I didn't know what a lens mount, what a lens did. Like I didn't know how to set the aperture, how to set the exposure, any shutter speeds. Like I had no clue how anything worked. Um, my first like success video was like a review of the Innovation Circuit, and it was shot in my kitchen with my MacBook Air, the webcam,
I love
and
that.
yeah, and like I think I don't remember exactly what kind of mic I used, but it was some mic hooked up to the computer, and I shot it with my window behind me, which is like a big no-no. Don't put a window behind you because it will mess up the
Uh-huh.
exposure. And then it's like you then my daughter, she was walking into the set, like because I was home with her. I started my YouTube channel when I was taking care of my newborn, basically. So so she was like around all the time. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And she was 1 year old when I started the channel. So
Hmm.
I used to like put her down for a nap, and then I could go and shoot a video. So that was like how it started. Um,
That is so.
and
I also see you like lighten up when you talk about it. So it's like such a great way to explore YouTube. And I'm actually wondering, were you a big YouTuber yourself? Like, were you checking out channels as well yourself?
if I was checking out other people's channels
Yeah,
for
sorry. Yeah,
inspiration, yeah, of course, yeah, totally.
yeah,
For example, I know you're having Cuckoo on later, I think,
yeah,
for an interview. Yeah.
yeah.
Cuckoo
And
was one of the Andreas was one of the guys that I was checking out. Of course, like he was, predated me with a couple of years, and I was checking his stuff out. And there was also a lot of like non music. There wasn't that many music tech. I watched Busy Works Beats, for
he's
example.
here.
Yeah, hey Andreas, what's up? Yeah, so yeah, Busy Works Beats was another guy that was checking out. He did a lot of like full studio stuff. There were Misto and Pizzy, if anybody remembers them. They
Yeah.
did totally different stuff from what I was eventually doing, but like there were a couple of music channels that I was into, and but mostly was other YouTubers. Like I was into gaming, for example, so I looked at a lot of gaming channels and stuff like that. So um, yeah, so that was kind of where I came into it, and just trying to learn how to fit, your music. Like it's a I usually say it's like a how do you say it? It's different things that you have to fit on camera. It's like
Uh-huh.
your musicality, but also your process, and you have to
Mm.
communicate this somehow. Like it's not so easy and then you have to like cut it together and make it presentable in some way. And yeah, it's a really sometimes I envy YouTubers who do like I was joking with a guy. He makes really podcastage. He makes really good like microphone reviews, and I was
Hmm.
joking with him, like you don't know how good you have it. Like you can sit in front of the camera, you can show the mic, you do audio tests. Like he's very thorough, but like when you shoot a video with a hardware synth, most of us have like 2 3 camera setups. You have to have lighting that fits the face, that fits the table. Like it's
Yeah,
quite complicated to make it work if you're a beginner like I was. Like
yeah,
getting that sorted out was very difficult, because the setups are quite complicated compared to many other genres of YouTube where you might just need one camera, for example. So the more I was just redoing. I can show you here. I was just redoing my setup. So
yeah.
so this is the new setup. So we have two
Nice.
point lighting, and behind me I have one light. Wait, where is it? There it is. Um, and then I have one camera here, one camera there, the big chunky boy over here.
That's
So
so awesome.
the setups are a bit complicated. So besides like Andreas Cuckoo, for example, there wasn't that many people that you could watch to get a good understanding of what you needed, because there are so many like technical things to think about. For example, if you want to light a table, so it's
Hmm.
well lit, but if you light it too much, then you blow out the small screens of the
Yes.
synths. They become white. It's very hard to like capture what's going on the small screen, for example. So yeah.
How did you solve that?
So sorry. How?
How did you solve that? Because that is a thing indeed
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
the light.
You solve it. The best solution I've found is just use very wide soft boxes. I don't know if you can see, but they're 95 centimeters in diameter, so they're very
Hmm.
wide. That gives the light a less sharp um, look. So it doesn't it spreads the light more evenly. So the bigger softbox you get, the better. So if you can get like a 120 centimeters or 140 centimeters even, that's amazing if you want to shoot videos for music equipment.
You need a
Because
bit
you
of
want to,
a bigger space.
yeah, exactly. You need. I mean, that's why I have I think how much do you have? 65 square meters or something. So
Nice.
it's pretty okay.
That's,
It's pretty. I
yeah.
could do. I need larger still, but it's coming
Next
along.
year?
No, I don't want to move again. It was horrible. It was so much work. It was so much work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm rambling on here, but I thought I
No, I
would
love
give
it.
you the explanation.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I've been hearing it's like a whole process. I know it a bit myself as
Mm.
I'm doing also
Yeah.
the video editing. But I think for a lot of other people that want to start off with maybe their own YouTube, like
Mm.
we know it doesn't need to be perfect, right? You just probably start and you just go with the flow and trial and learn, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very difficult to decide to be successful. Um,
Mhm.
like I know there's the business memes of like, oh, if you just have the right mindset, then everybody can succeed. Blah blah blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're from. Are you Scandinavian too, or?
Yeah, no, I'm from the Netherlands.
Oh, okay, okay,
In
yeah. So
close,
it's close,
close.
close, yeah. So I think you have a similar culture in that sense that we are a little bit more cynical about
Uh-huh.
success.
Like,
We're not like the US people. We're more like work hard and you might be able to afford a house if you're like like you should be happy. Don't try and do too much. Don't set too high goals. Be in Sweden
exactly.
is very much about being moderate. No, but in essence, like I think that sort of the whole, like, you need a bit of the like tunnel visioning mindset, like, no doubt, like, but that goes for a lot of things in life. If you want to reach a particular goal, of course, being a bit single-minded about it is very helpful in different periods of your life. But I think like I think just perseverance, like keeping it up,
Hmm.
um, consistency, all of those things. If you have something to say, if you have something on your mind that you want to share, with today's day and age, like with the technology, with social media, it's more about persevering and eventually finding your audience, finding your people, the people that are into what you're doing, and I think a lot of people can find some level of success, but it's also, of course, very difficult to just manufacture it, if you will, like to sit down like day one and say, I want to do this and it's going to be successful. Like I think
Yeah.
there are people who can do it with the right ideas and with the right setup, but oftentimes these are people who have advantages in some way, and for example, I'm thinking about doing like a second channel about psychology at some point, and of course, having a platform already is an advantage, and then you learn a lot, and then you can set it up, and it will probably do better, faster than my first channel.
Mm.
But that's just like what happens when you do one business and then you do a new business. So I think for YouTube and social media in particular, I think it's more about persevering and then just improving on what you're doing, and hopefully, and with a bit of luck, like being in the right place at the right time, things might happen. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I totally agree with you. And it is fascinating because you started in 2020, you said. It's
No, I
now,
started in 20,
or
2015. 2015.
20,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
2015, I started my channel. And then
Okay.
in 2015, I didn't make any good videos. And in 2016, maybe I did like 5% of my videos were good.
Yeah.
And then in 2017, maybe 10% or 15% of my videos were decent. And that's when it started to kind of, you know, get a little bit more exciting. Um, so, I mean, that in 2017, it was like the year when I saw that, okay, I can start taking some time off my regular job to focus more on YouTube. Um, at the time, I was employed in 3 places, and I also did a master's education. So I was responsible for 2 health clinics, departments in health clinics. So not the entire health clinic, of course. Like I'm not a boss, but I was alone responsible for 2 mental health clinics, you could say, and also a university teaching job, as well as doing education. And I had my small daughter, and I was waiting for my second child. So there was a lot going on in my life in 2017. So I said, okay, um, there was a lot of changes to the health clinics. So I said, okay, this is probably not for me anymore. I just during Christmas I took a break. I realized, you know, I'm happy just teaching, doing some private consulting in psychology, and focusing on YouTube. So I cut down on. I left my job at the 2 health clinics, and at that point, I got a little bit more time for YouTube. So in 2018, 2019, it started to. I started to formulate more of my concept, who I am as a creative online. Like that started to take more of a firmer, and got a more of a firmer shape, I guess. Like was
Mm.
was still very like I was just feeling my way, you know, testing stuff, and doing music, and trying to make fun videos, and trying just to kind of I guess like reconnect with what I had been doing when I was in
Mm.
my 20s. So uh, yeah. Yes, I have a question here. So
Ah,
Narvel, he says, clinic, are you a doc? No, so I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a licensed psychotherapist. So in Sweden, I'm a state licensed, which is like it's equivalent to being a medical doctor, but in the psychotherapy field. So for psychological treatments, it's the highest uh, license you can have in psychology, in psychological treatment, basically.
mm.
So in Sweden, it's a regulated field. So it's important to set it apart. Like I'm not a therapist. Like I'm not, somebody who's done like a year of training. I've done multiple years, and it's a very difficult education to. We're partly the same education um, as medical doctors have in psychiatry, for example, have similar courses. So it's a serious
Yeah.
education. And YouTube was actually like the way I was like letting off steam. You would
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah.
you would have suicidal patients on a Friday, and then you go home, and on Saturday, just like, hello, my name is Bo. Let's play some synths. Like that was a way of like letting out some steam. That was actually one of the primary reasons why I started again with music and with YouTube. It's just a different way of being creative, because I was feeling a bit stifled, in
Mm.
education and healthcare.
Mm.
I was really feeling it. I love working with patients. I love working with students, but I don't love the healthcare institutions, and I definitely don't love the schools, the educational institution, the framework, the organization, the way it kind of boxes people in, the way you are forced. It becomes almost like an industrial thing, you know. It's patients come in, you treat them, they go out, next patient, and if you come with some
Like
creative
numbers.
idea, yeah, exactly, it becomes very much a numbers game to the organization. It's the same with education. It's a lot of focus on students passing, you know. They have to pass, we have to give them a grade, next class, next year, bum bum bum. It's something that always, you know, keeps on chugging. It's a machine, and in certain ways there's some level of humanity and some level of like passion and creativity that tends to get lost in this, I feel.
Yeah.
So you could say that this experience I had mirrors the experience I had in music, where I felt like in 2005, I felt like, okay, music is becoming this industrial thing for me. Like it's, oh, Bo, can you come and mix this live show? Hey, can you mix this thing? And I realized, okay, this can quickly become just a treadmill. And eventually I felt the same way with education and therapy, where the room for my voice and my own agency was so small in a way. So that's where YouTube, like, people can joke about like how YouTube is a grind. Like anything, if you want to be at a decent level, is a grind. You have to work, you have to go to the job, and you have to put in the hours to push yourself. However, what's really cool about YouTube and social media is that you have a lot of more agency. Like at the end of the day, I really avoid doing things if I don't feel like it. And I don't have to. I don't have a boss. I think that's at the end of the day.
Are you working
sure.
together with people?
No, yeah, well, no, no. I work mostly alone. But I've taken on a young guy as sort of an assistant to help out a few hours now and then, and that's nice. Like, of course, that's like that's of course like important to have people, and I have a lot of colleagues online, other YouTubers that I talk to. So having that is of course really advantageous and really good. And I think like to anybody who wants to do more social media stuff, I think finding the team, finding people to connect with is key in order to persist, like over time, to persevere. But so I'm actually started to employ a guy to come and help me out, just help out with practical stuff, some administration, and just also it's nice just to have somebody around to talk to, you know, so I'm not sitting there alone like, hey Bo, do you like this new video angle? Yeah, it's really nice. Like no,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, but it's also like ideally I'd like to work with more people, like so if you want to work with somebody, want to work with me, you know, feel free to hit me up. Like if you have an idea, it's okay, hit me up. Like but being a therapist, you're alone a lot of the time, and being a teacher in higher education, I was a university teacher, it's also very much it's a solo thing. It's very much like working alone. It's not very team focused. And therapy, you spend maybe 7 out of 8 hours every working day alone with the patient. So you're in a conversation with somebody, but it's a kind of a one-way. It's a one-way street in a way. Like you have a relationship to the patient, but it's not somewhere where you can say, you know, oh yeah, I'm tired too, I've been up all night with my daughter, like I can relate. Unless
have a beer.
Unless it's a patient who complains a lot about being awakened every night by their child, and you go, how many times does the child wake you? And they say, oh, one time. And I say, well, I have it on good authority that's not a lot. Like,
yeah, exactly. You have a comparison.
We can put it in. We can look at it like comparing it to others. Yeah, no, but yeah, yeah. So in 2020, I left all of my jobs basically because of also the pandemic. So I was doing like part-time consulting. Um, so I was doing like leadership coaching group sessions, and the pandemic came, and suddenly people weren't so keen on meeting in groups. So yeah, so then I thought, let's take a year off and see where it leads me. And at the end of that year, or yeah, um, at the end of 2020, I really wasn't missing it. So I asked my university if they wanted me back, and they said, "No, Bo, where do you?" No, they wanted me back. They wanted me back. Yeah, they were super cool. They were super nice, and I had a really good boss and everything. And that's when you really know that you have to move on. When you have everything sounds good, everybody, we're on the same page, and you still have that feeling like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I want to do something else. So at that point, I said, I can always go back and do this in the future. So let's do music, let's do YouTube, let's do some this sort of weird creative journey, whatever it is, and let's do it and see how long I feel like doing it, and see where it ends up. And I thought it was a good timing also with my kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, so they're not small kids, small problems. So I felt like, you know, it's probably good if their dad, does this existential shift in life now when they're smaller. So he has figured his shit out when
Hmm.
they wanna figure their stuff out, which is in like 10 years or so. So hopefully I've learned something from this and can impart that on them.
Yeah, I love that. You're so driven, and I love that you actually your drive is what I hear from you. It's really that you want to have a voice and that you actually want to connect with other people in your way.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
totally.
and yeah, I can see it on your YouTube, and it really comes across like that. And I love the
Hmm.
community that you build up. It's really an open-minded
Yeah, we
um,
try.
group.
Like I think it's it's also the times we live in are pretty harsh and hard, and people are frustrated and tired and angry, and especially online, things are
Yeah.
kind of rough sometimes. So I feel like,
How you deal with that?
um, well, you try and be a patient. You try and be patient. You try and be compassionate to some level at least, and also just try and, at least I very consciously try and build a positive community. And what do I mean by that? I mean that I try and avoid engaging in like trolling and toxic behaviors, and like a social media person, I try and um, think about what message I'm sending. Even if I do gear videos, like that's what I do most of the time. Even in those videos, I think there are different ways to message, to send a message, to send a positive message, or to send, like, I'm totally being critical is good, but it's also important not to, like, there's this confusion online between being critical and being rude or toxic, or there's some, and there's people easily exaggerate things for effect. People forget that negativity sells. So online, there's definitely a lot of people who engage in exaggerations for clicks. And for example, that's something I really want to avoid doing, um, because not because it can't be funny or can't be like, I get it, but personally, I feel I've done a couple of things where I've tried to, like, people. I was when I started out, I did a few things where I was a little bit more dramatic. Oh, I really don't like this, and the result that I realized what I got in return was a lot of anger, frustration, and negativity. It created a very downwards spiral. It became a kind of a race to the bottom, if you will, about who's most upset about things. And I realized, wow, this is really not where I want to go with any of my content. Anything, this is not interesting to me in the least.
Hmm.
So being critical is good, but I really try and avoid, like, I don't know, dramatization of things. And I trying to, at least, like, sure, I sometimes also need to vent, but generally trying to be, how do you say, in English, it's about, oh, I'm missing the word, about how things, if something's small, what's
Hmm.
the point of blowing it out of proportion? Yeah, proportions.
Yeah.
It's a lot about
Yep.
proportions to me. Like, and especially when you're dealing with the community and when you deal with other people, it's like, um, um, if somebody is toxic, call them out for it. But if somebody's just having an off day, be forgiving, have patience. Like, I mean, it's
Your
really not.
background is perfect for that.
Yeah, I
But
guess, like, yeah. I mean, the downside is, of course, that I have also, like, sometimes a little bit too much patience. So I've learned to sort of, you know, to sort of keep it reasonable, if you will. Like, some people, some communities, and some people, you need to call them out and be very clear about what's okay and not okay. But it's also about,
yeah.
like, just realizing people are human. Most people are decent. I'm very blessed. Like, I have a very mature, um, happy, or generally happy, like, at least positive community, like, of people who are into having, like, gear discussions, having fun around music, and not focus so much on, like, being, like, nitpicky or upset with small
Hmm.
things, or you know, in general, it's been pretty good. So yeah.
Let's make it positive then. Like, what was the nicest comment you got?
The nicest comments. Well, I think I think my absolute favorite comments are, in general, when somebody, like, tells me, um, genuinely tells me that, okay, so I was in a weird place in life, or I wasn't happy. I watched some of your videos. I started making music again or something, and that led to other positive outcomes. Like, that's really nice when people, when you feel you touched, reached somebody, you touched them in some way, like a little bit spiritually, or psychologically, like, in a way that had an impact, that you, maybe that you lowered the bar for entry a bit, like, you showed, okay, this is not so complicated. Somebody tries something out and they get hooked and they start making, music, and just finding enjoyment in that, and how that relates, how that in some way re- impacts their life and enhances their life. So I think those comments are very nice, and people do tell me that, often. So it's very nice to see, and like, I'm always a little bit. That's the difference also when you're a teacher and therapist. People come to you out of necessity most of the time.
Mm,
But on YouTube, people come, they can just click off. They can go and watch somebody else. So it's a very free choice, and I think that's one of the, where I get the most of the ego boost, the good
yeah.
feeling, like, okay, people are actually, like, hundreds of thousands of people, watch me every month, and most of them seem to at least not think it's totally garbage. So because otherwise they let you know, they will let
Yeah.
you know. The
Yeah.
percentage that really doesn't like it, they let you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I saw somebody, yeah, DJ Tidewave says, love your channel, Bo. Well, thank you,
There is so
DJ.
much love for you.
Well, thank you. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's YouTube is, for me, like, I'm a YouTuber. I don't like, some people don't like the term. I think that it's a term of endearment. It's a very positive thing to be a YouTuber, because for me, and I understand that this can be different depending on your experiences, but for me, being a YouTuber means that I'm a person sharing something online and trying to connect with an audience, with my community of people. I'm building a community of people around what I'm doing. And there's a level of interaction. I read comments, I answer a lot of stuff. What I read also impacts what I do, and there's some sort of
Mutual.
exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the difference between, for example, being an artist, where the level of exchange, I would say, for most musicians and their audience is much, much, much lower, because it's not a one-to-one like interaction. I have a lot of music producer friends who are very, very good music producers, do like on a high professional level. And it's not like they're sitting in forums and reading comments about their music and having that determine what they do next. Like, that's not how it works for most of them. Sure, they might go and read sometimes, but for a YouTuber, at least like myself, I feel like this back and forth, this connection is important. I usually say that my channel is 33% about music, 33% about the gear, and 33% about the people. So it's
Love
like
that.
for me, I couldn't do one without the other. Some people are like, you're so gear focused. Yeah, because that's a huge part of my passion. Like that, I could not do YouTube without the gear, because gear is a huge part of my passion as well as the audience's passion. But I couldn't do YouTube without the people, and I couldn't do YouTube without the music. I couldn't do like iPad videos, for example, or videos about computers, because I'm not really that invested. I'm invested in music, and yeah, that's really what I like. I like the combination of things, and
That's
I
so
guess,
great.
yeah, and I guess that kind of brings it back to the first thing we talked about, why I didn't like continue in music professionally, even though I had when I look at back, I'm not saying I was great at music or anything. Like, I'm saying I'm above average. But if you're above average, I had a way in making music professionally, and making it a career. I had a way in, but I chose a different path. And I think when I look back, it's like, because music wasn't 100% for me. Like the sort of music that was available to me to make, the sort of communities and the sort of scenes, the rock pop scene that was available to me, that wasn't my scene. So with YouTube, I could instead build the thing I wanted to build, and it made sense.
And it succeeded.
Well, to some extent, I guess. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, I can live off it, so that's a way to succeed, I guess. People watch my videos; they're of decent quality, above average at least. So, I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
success. Like, you know how it is. We Swedes. I mean, I talk a lot, but we still have this nagging
Yeah.
modesty inside of us.
Humble.
It's like,
Humble.
well, yeah, I don't know if it's humility per se, but it's some sort of cultural shame, I guess. It's ingrained in us. Like, keep your head down. You're not a big deal. You're not a big deal. Remember, it's the Swedish
It's funny.
lagom, average.
Yeah, exactly. I get that. So Bo, what is your favorite gear from the last time? Because we touched base on everything basically, but the
Yeah.
gear not really. So I'm really curious, what is your bit of your favorite at the moment?
I'll go and grab it. Let me show you. This is a sneak
They
peek.
left us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and grab it here for you.
Bye.
Let's see here.
Ah,
Here's one of my favorites at the moment. This is my little cute Euro rack. The too many synths, and I kind of designed together. It has some really crazy. Look here. There's one U at the top, one at the
nice.
front. Very special. It has a lot of small special secrets in it. So that's yeah.
You build it yourself?
No, that's I designed it together with Too Many Synths. He
Ah,
makes Eura cases, so I had this idea for like a like a more of a, how do you say, like a tabletop kind of
yeah,
case. So it's
very
very
cool.
tiny. It might look large on camera, um,
Yes,
but like if you look at my hand, you can see that it's not huge at all. It's pretty small. So it's very compact little case. So I'm making a video on that. And let's see here. Bankhead says
yeah,
that's a sick Raxer. Well done, nice on the back too. Yeah. I mean, there's 3U on the back.
it's really
So
cool.
yeah, it's a very cool case. So I've been enjoying that a lot. Otherwise, it's like sequential. The Take Five. Do you know it?
Ah, hmm.
Yeah, the with the weirdest name, Take Five. It sounds like a mix between two boy bands, like Take That and
Yes.
Five, like five on it.
Uh, it's
Uh,
actually yeah I have that vibe as well when you say it.
yeah, Take Five. It's like I don't know about the name. It's a really weird one, but no, I like that synth. It is cute. It's simple. Sounds great. Like I love, at the end of the day, it's like, I think you might feel the same way sometimes. You just want something that works for you. Like it doesn't have to have all the cool stuff. It doesn't have to have every function. As long as it's immediate and it's fun when you turn it on and it sounds great. Like the quicker you can get to the end results that you're looking for, oftentimes the more fun it is.
Yeah, I
What
yeah
about
I
what about you? Do you have any favorites?
oh I think
No?
it's like what is your favorite child? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
um at the moment I'm really going well with the machine. You have that as well, right?
Oh yeah. Which one do you have?
What? The standalone one, the plus.
The Plus. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. It's just like putting on your lap and like so you start to
Yeah.
jam and track done, sort
Yeah,
of.
and yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it because I've always felt like, and I really have to make some more videos about it because it's something that I really want to convey to people, like how, if you want, like, how do you say, like, you want a certain workflow, you want the hands-on workflow, but you might also want some of the computer functionality. The Machina Mark III or the Machina Plus, it's a very nice, like, tight integration. Like it's but it also feels like an instrument. It doesn't feel necessarily just like it doesn't feel just like a controller or just like some sort of like computer in a box. To me it's very immediate. I've been working with Machina Studio. Was the first Machina that I got. I don't remember exactly when, but it was before I started YouTube, and it was the piece of hardware that I kind of like. Novation Circuit was the thing that I started showcasing on YouTube that sort of got me going, but Machina Studio was the thing that got me back more into music because I was a Cubase guy, and having fun with Cubase and so on for producing, but I never really felt that connection, that me that instrument connection of like having back in the day I used to have like an old groove box and stuff like that. So with Machina Studio, I really felt like connected to the hardware. Like it was easy. Like I just turned off the screen. I did everything with the hardware controller, and just like on the Plus, basically. So yeah, it's
It's
great fun.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was on my like list for favorite tech of 2021. Definitely
Ah, cool.
the Machina Plus, because um, it's one of those. Yeah, for my working on new music and a new album, and a lot of music originated on the Machina Plus.
Now you
Um,
actually already like answer my last question almost. I
yeah,
really wanted to ask you, yeah, what's next? But you have an album on the
yeah,
way, I hear.
yeah. So I have a new single out called Metropolis, which is
Mm,
like I guess it's a mod bap, so modular boom bap style kind of beat, with a lot of like Eurorack synth sounds, and it's kind of a journey, like it's so for the people watching, if you check out BoBeats on Spotify or iTunes, it's over there. So I'm basically for this year, for 2022, I'm aiming to make more music, and sort of release it under BoBeats, and it will be a lot of like electronic beats. That's sort of how I narrowed it down. That's the concept. So, and I'm working towards an album that will be called Bits, Beats, and Pieces, which will be it will be like a little bit more of a compilation album, I guess, of like electronic beats that I made. There will be some old stuff as well. I have a huge catalog of like old music that isn't released and that fits with the BoBeats theme, I guess, or concept. So the idea is to have some of that older music as well. Yeah.
Somebody
Sorry?
saying BoBeats, WAP.
I don't know what
Is that
that is.
correct?
What does the WAP stand for? I don't know.
I am neither. Like, maybe we should know this.
Maybe we should know it.
Yeah.
No, but yes. So the album is it's something I'm working towards. I have I think 7 tracks ready for it, but I want to release. I have some singles that I want to release first. Like that's the aim, to have a couple of singles released. Apparently, that's the thing you do nowadays. Albums. It's like it's a boomer thing. Albums, but yeah. So an album is coming along.
Nice. We are looking forward. Curious if anyone else in the chat has some questions for dear Bo, because we're gonna wrap it up soon. I hold you so long here. Sorry, Bo.
Yeah,
It's already
no
like
problem,
an hour.
no problem. I'm just rambling on. You see,
No.
I always tell the story like it is. It's like people have to cut me off because I'm used to having 4-hour lectures. Like that's my default. You know, that's like I love to. When I was a university teacher, what I usually do is I start at 8, and I instead of doing like 10 to 12 and then doing something in the afternoon, I usually did like 8 in the morning to 12 midday, and just 4 hours, you know, with the students. Like I love doing that, and not always the students, but
Well, at least I really love to talk. Like, seriously, I had a list full with questions, but like I was so like into what you were saying that I forgot the half, I think, but that's okay.
no problem.
Really,
I don't know what you're saying there, but I see Mick Benjamins from Native Instruments has joined the chat as well.
yes, I saw it.
Yeah, awesome.
Mutual friend, I think.
Yeah. No, but it's good fun just connecting a bit. I think especially in this day and age, you know, with everything being a little bit more non-social still, like it's nice, and also like there's, you know how it is. It's a lot of emailing, a lot of texting and stuff, and it's nice to connect a bit. And now you got my life story basically, so.
It's so great. I love it. Like
so if I see you at Superbooth, you can tell me your life story next time.
Okay, I can keep it really really short as well. I'm so happy. Oh, actually, we had a winner because it's January, of course, and it's January, and we had someone that made a really cool video and that won a book from Bjooks.
Oh, awesome!
And that's Knobs and Switches. He made a really cool piece of 2 minutes. Yeah, a really cool synth book coming your way. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bankhead says, I love your point about patience. One thing I would like to add is about being patient with yourself and gracious to yourself. Yeah, Bankhead. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, totally. Being patient with yourself is also highly important. And just, I think in this day and age, I think self-compassion is very important, to treating ourselves with respect and self-love and self-care. Like that's super key, I think, especially when we're going through all of these troubling times and trying times.
Maybe we should have like at Superbooth like a self-love corner.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Are you planning to go to Superbooth this year?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm
awesome.
not still in Sydney, but I'm gonna go back in March, end of March,
Mm,
and
mm.
yeah, I'm gonna help Bjooks, and I will just probably be around a lot of stands to see what I
Awesome.
want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's a, have you been to Superbooth before?
It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
It's I can highly encourage anybody watching to go because it's just a super weird and quirky nerdy experience, but also amazing. So
like,
it's yeah. I mean it's so fun because it's like it's a lot of music and it's a lot of like creative people, but it's also like just a lot of nerds. Like I like that combination because it also feels like um it's it doesn't feel so, how do you say, so like ego, if you will. Like it's very like chill, very relaxed. Like everybody's just talking to everybody, and it's easy to approach people and talk to manufacturers. And if you see somebody that you like to watch on YouTube, you can always come and say hello, and
yeah,
it's always a good time.
super leveled.
And now, of course, the
Yeah,
last super important
yep.
question. Max Powers, he asks, Bo, did you quit drinking coffee? And yeah, I quit for a couple of months, and now I'm back at it again. Yeah, gotta get my daily dose of coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was another one last one, the really last one about DistroKit, if you would recommend DistroKit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're a channel sponsor, so of course I'm gonna recommend them. But
No.
but also, yeah, I release my music through DistroKid, so yeah, I think they're pretty fine. Totally.
Cool. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, I want to thank you for your time. It was
no
really cool.
problem, no problem. Awesome being on, and well, good luck with Bukes, and
Yeah,
yeah, hope to see you at Superbooth.
we will. I'm gonna upload this so everybody can watch it back.
Okay,
And
cool.
I hope,
Here on the Bukes
yes,
IG. Yeah, yeah, cool, awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll
yeah,
try and reshare it.
amazing. Well, you and everyone have a good day, night, wherever
Yeah,
you are in the
have a
world.
good day. Have a good day. Well, I
All
guess
right.
so. Yeah, bye bye.
I will. Bye.